I am beating every N64 game, and I mean all of them. The twist is, the next game I play is randomly selected, so I have no clue what's coming next. This is the journey to beating every N64 game. Game number 143, Mystical Ninja Starring Goemon. Released in 1998, this game was developed and published by Konami. Now, here's a game that I've had so many people tell me they're waiting to see. Well, here it is. I'd never seen this game before this challenge, so I didn't really know what it was supposed to be. With so many people having fond memories of this one, it must be pretty good, right? That's what I like about doing this. It was impossible to play all the games back then, so there's definitely going to be ones everyone missed. But the ones that you did miss are different for everyone. Let's get into it. This game has a single player story mode, so that's what we'll be doing to beat this game. When you start, it opens with a cutscene to set the stage. Goemon and his friend Ebisumaru are being chased out of a store by the owner. Apparently Ebisumaru took off his clothes and did a dance to try to get a discount, okay. Then there's this airship flying overhead full of evil people. It heads toward Oedo Castle, surely to cause some trouble. They attack the castle where Lord and Princess Yuki are. Goemon and Ebisumaru set out to save the day. Then I was in control. It's like a 3D adventure game. I spawned in Goemon's town where many people to talk to were. Some of the dialogue is just strange. This girl talks about how the castle was hit and transformed into a European castle. She then wonders if she was hit by the UFO, would she turn into a model EU citizen? What is that even supposed to mean? When I went to a new area of town, I learned there's a mini-map you can display. This is a huge quality of life feature as it shows you which doors you can enter. Some doors are just aesthetics, you know? Also, this guy hopping around mugged me. I lost 50 Rio, the currency of the game. I taught him a lesson with my pipe thing. I'm not sure what that weapon is. More weird dialogue. This guy's talking about how the UFO that flew over isn't a big deal, and no one should worry about it. Then he just screams heck in all caps out of nowhere. This game was originally done in Japanese, so I have to wonder how well the localization is. I made my way to a shop where some gear was available for purchase. I didn't really know what any of it did, so I just decided to buy a straw raincoat. The shopkeeper said it protects me from 3 attacks from enemies. That sounds pretty underwhelming, but okay. Then I went to an inn where you can recover your health. This is also where you have to go to save the game, so I would be going here a lot. My main goal was to just start figuring out where the heck to go. There was so much to explore that it was overwhelming. I was swimming through the waterway where I found a silver fortune doll. Finding 4 of these increases your max health by 1. I found these star blocks that sure looked suspicious, but nope, couldn't get anything to happen. It's here I learned I can transform into Ebisumaru whenever I want. He crawls around on his back? How strange. Still wandering around, I ran into the building where the fortune teller was. If you played this game, then I guarantee you recognize this sound effect. For the low price of 10 Rio, the fortune teller gives you hints on where to go next. My goodness, this is exactly what I needed. I'd be visiting this guy a lot in this playthrough. He told me the directions to the Kai Highway, which leads to Mount Fuji. Here I'll learn how to gain access to Oedo Castle. Finally! I felt like I was getting something accomplished when I made it to the Kai Highway. This was a huge open area with plenty of scary enemies to fight. Like this egg in a dress or whatever the heck it is. The only real moves I could do for now were to run, jump, and whack things with the pipe. After wandering around for a few minutes, I entered the gate to Mount Fuji. It was absolutely massive. Climbing it was just like real life. All the scaffolding and ladders and falling boulders. It's wild how realistic they made this. After climbing a bit, I went inside the mountain where it appeared to be full of lava. Also, the enemies were now slinkies, which was kind of weird. Within here was a building where Mokubei lived. Some of the villagers were telling me I needed to find him. Why is this guy just completely stationary except for one arm flailing around? What in the world is this character design? Anyway, he gave me the chain pipe, which he says I can attach to star blocks. Ah, I remember those at the castle. Now I had to head back. I decided to check if this game has fall damage, and nope, sure doesn't. It felt great to just flail down like that. So I made my way back to town and back to those star blocks. With the chain pipe I can cross the gap, it's kind of like a grappling hook. Past here was an entrance to Oedo Castle. The sign outside saved my game, which was nice. I guess you could call this the first dungeon of the game. The UFO has completely changed this place. Those evil eggs and dresses are in here, which is definitely not normal. Man, trying to hit these star blocks is so tedious. Imagine Ocarina of Time but with no lock-on button. Typically, these dungeons will have various keys behind obstacles or puzzles. They're required to progress further inside. Oh my god, Mrs. Puff is even in this game! 3 hits with the chain pipe takes care of her easily though. I had to kill all the enemies in this room to reveal a key. And this is already sharing a lot of tropes with Zelda games. Within the next room was a platform where I found Mr. Elephant. This gave me access to the map of this dungeon. Always a great thing to find. The map is viewed from the pause menu, and it's seriously so nice if you get lost. In one of the later rooms, I killed all the enemies to reveal a key to the same room. Why didn't this just open the door for me? Seems kind of redundant to make me pick up a key. Maybe keys were the only feature they implemented for locked doors. I just kept going further and further into the castle, killing everything I saw along the way. I had complete bloodlust. Other rooms had obstacles for me to traverse and nothing could stop me. In reality, the platforming physics in this are pretty solid. It didn't feel janky at all, although the small jump height made certain parts tough at times. Past one of these obstacles I found Mr. Arrow. This reveals the location of the dungeon's boss on the map. Once I made it to the room outside the boss, I ran into this person named Baron. They say their plan is to transform Oedo Castle into a beautiful stage to perform on. We threaten them and they spin into the wall, disappearing. Through the next room led to the first boss of the game, the King Robot Kongo. It has a red dot on its chin, which is the weak point. Seems like a big design oversight by the bad guys, if you ask me. It slowly spins around the room, doing things like shooting fire from its mouth or sending out dangerous lasers I had to jump over. And that's the only mechanics, really. The boss has an insane amount of health, though. It took dozens of hits to take it out. As you're hurting it more, it begins to fall apart until finally it explodes in a massive fireball. The boss dropped the Miracle Moon, which the game remarked is in the shape of a moon. I mean, I'd hope it is. What other shape would it be? We appeared next to the Lord and Princess Yuki. Apparently, after we destroyed Kongo, the castle returned to normal. The Lord says he heard Baron shout instant stage beam just before the castle transformed into that mess before. The Lord asks us to chase down the people who did this, and it gave me the choice to either say, yeah, sure, I won't let you down, or give me a break. Obviously, I went with the chaotic evil answer, and he said he'd never heard something so sad in his life. You know, I love when games give you a pointless choice like this. It's fun to mess around like that in video games. Anyway, I eventually agreed and he gave me a super pass. I went back to Goemon's house and the Lord and Princess Yuki were there. At least he said he'd do the dishes for me. Apparently the castle isn't back to normal yet. Whoops. So after exploring the town a bit, I found some guards who were blocking my path before. Now with the Lord's super pass, they had no choice but to let me through. This led to another overworld type area called Musashi. I went through a scary tunnel, then came out on the other side to a place called Shinano Iga. At the end of a long road was a tall house. As Goemon ran up to it, it just blew up out of nowhere. What the heck, man? Goemon runs up to check it out, and he discovers the Triton shell, which is used to summon gigantic robot Impact. I guess this used to be the wise man's home, but, well, rip to that place. Turns out Baron is the one who blew the place up. Kind of expected. Goemon keeps calling them a weirdo, so they disappear into their robot. The game then plays a rather odd cutscene where Goemon is beamed up to the robot and it shows it gearing up for battle. Reminds me of the Megazord transformation scenes in Power Rangers. Also, it plays a song here that is an absolute banger. Unfortunately, I can't play the song for you because it'll get my video flagged, but if you want to look it up, it's called I Am Impact. Then we get to a rather odd gameplay segment where the robot is riding rollerblades down the valley. There's tanks and flying robots along the way and I can whack them with a much bigger pipe. Also there's buildings which I presume house innocent civilians and we just destroy them like they're nothing. The funniest part though is when you trip over the bridge. You can make Impact jump, but there's a massive delay before it registers. I'm pretty sure I hit every obstacle in this entire part. Then it shows the robot Baron went in, the wartime kabuki robot Kashiwagi. The fighting puts you in a first-person view from the view of the robot's head. Fighting as the robot is kind of overwhelming. At first, I discovered I had an attack to send some kind of flashing discs. Turns out this is me throwing my money away, so yeah, screw that. I sent out a grappling hook and connected with the enemy, but I couldn't really figure out what to do. It just kind of was stuck there, then it eventually got free. So what you do have to do is yank the chain around enough and button mash to get the blue meter to fill up on the glass panel in the center. This pulls the enemy in and stuns it. With that, I could give it a nice punch combo to deal decent damage. Eventually though, Baron used some crazy purple attack against me and it just killed me in one hit. Not really sure what I could have done about that, but okay. When you die, you just respawn to try the fight again, which is nice. For the boss's attacks, it has a few of them. Sometimes it'll send a barrage of umbrellas or missiles, which I had to aim at and punch to deflect. Otherwise, it'll charge in, and this can be stopped with a well-timed punch. Not only do you not take damage, but the boss does. The bottom left value is my money, the bottom right my health, and the top value is the enemy's health. I was doing well on this second attempt, but then that purple attack came again. This time I learned I just had to punch the holograms and I wouldn't take any damage. After learning all these patterns, I took the boss down second try. It exploded with nearly as much force as the boss earlier. I'll just say, that entire thing was awesome. From the song, to the skating, and the fight itself. I really enjoyed it. Goemon exits Impact and it says it has to leave because it's filming a movie in America. That's strange, but okay. Once I moved past here, I arrived at the Zazen town of Yamashiro. It plays a cutscene when a girl with green hair named Yae shows up. Apparently, we know each other. She says she's been following that UFO. Out of nowhere, it shows a picture of an elephant, which is apparently the narrator of the game. Didn't know the game had one, but okay. She thinks this is all the work of the mysterious Flake Gang. Apparently, the members of the gang call themselves the Peach Mountain Shogun. This is all too complicated. Anyway, she's now joined the party. With a new town comes more interesting dialogue. Like here we get a crossover with the Mario universe, where apparently Yoshi has always wanted to become a great dancer. Or this guy hearing that gigantic robots have been attacking the local villages. He's like, "You're not the one doing that, right?" Yeah, sure buddy. Never destroyed a building in my life. From talking to the townsfolk, I learned some guy named Benkei was guarding the bridge I needed to cross. I had to give him a treasure to add to his collection in order to be allowed to pass. I found a guy named Ushikawa who said he'd help me with Benkei if I caught him 3 blue fish from Duck Creek. So I jumped down into the water and grabbed the fish for him. Easy enough, just had to touch them. I figured I was done, but now I wanted 5 yellow fish. Oh, this is going to get annoying, isn't it? Once I did that, he wanted me to get 8 red fish, although he promised this was the last thing. Finally, I was done with this garbage. As promised, he gave me what I needed. A gigantic log, which the game called an Achilles heel. He said if I throw this at Benkei, he'll probably move out of the way. Gee, thanks buddy. I made my way to the bridge and there was Benkei with a big old halberd. He said he could tell we wanted to fight. If we lose, he's gonna blast us far, far away. Then the weirdest fight in history happens. Benkei just keeps jumping in place like some idiot and Goemon is throwing logs at his feet. Or I guess they're Achilles heels or whatever. Benkei is super sad that he lost, and in the same way he did to Ushikawa as well. He promises to give us something from his collection, which turns out to be our friend Sasuke. He's the mechanical ninja, although it seems like he's lacking batteries currently. Past the bridge was another one of those overworld areas, Yamato. It's kinda cool how big these places are, but man, it takes a long time to walk through them. I made my way to the tourist center where they said I could travel to Shikoku on their dragon. However, the dragon has gone rogue and someone needs to get it back to normal. Guess that's a job for me. We get a cutscene showing the awesome looking blue dragon flying through the sky. Seems like it's working well enough to me. When I gained control, I immediately fell off the dragon and died. Anyway, I had to run along its back while various flying enemies were coming at me. There's a machine on the dragon's head and we hear a voice. Some guy named Colin says he's been using the dragon to kidnap children with dancing abilities. People in Yamashiro were saying this was happening. Colin then sends this machine to attack me. This fight is pretty disorienting because the dragon rolls around the entire time. The machine spins around sending out metal balls. Once it's done that for a while, it gets tired and I can attack it. It was an easy fight, but I guess it's like just a mini boss. When it blows up, the dragon just kept doing barrel rolls. I'm not really sure how Goemon didn't fall off and die. We land at a temple and a blue-haired guy crashes down out of the sky. His name is Koryuta, and apparently he's the son of the dragon god. He was hypnotized by the Peach Mountain gang and they were making him kidnap all those children. Now that we freed him from the mind control, he tells us he took them to the Dogo hot springs so we can find them there. He then gives us a flute that we can use to summon him as a dragon at any time. This will allow us to fast travel to any town, village, coffee shop, or castle we've previously visited. Heck yeah, less walking around to do. Well, apparently we fell at Konbira Mountain, so time to climb. This place is really dangerous. There's just boulders barreling down the stairs. And then after that, there's evil heads on sticks. Never coming here again, I swear. There was this weird guy at the top who told me I should throw 5 Rio into the shrine if I wanted to receive help from God. Yeah, sure buddy, I know you won't just go loot the shrine later. When I put in the Rio, the god of money spoke to me, otherwise known as that guy over a speaker. For doing this, I gained the Medal of Flames. With this, I could have Goemon shoot a ball of fire, which is kind of cool. I got a bit stuck on where to go next, so I figured maybe I need to go back to the Zazen town. Thank God for this fast travel. I'd hate to have to run all the way back there. Also, I don't even think I'd be able to find my way there anyway. Here, I went back to my man Ushikawa, except something was different. He said he ate 8 sweets in a row at the Golden Temple and it caused him to shrink in size. He'll show us how to do it if we follow him there. This led into a rather odd minigame where Ebisumaru was in a room with some of those egg enemies. If he gets caught by the person when they open the box he's in, you get thrown out. Basically just hit the enemies when they get close and make sure you're hiding behind something when the room starts shaking. Once I'd collected 8 pieces of candy, Ebisumaru gained the ability to shrink down anywhere he pleases. Now I could go back to the Zazen town and get into this hole by shrinking. The citizens were saying the door wouldn't open for anyone. Through this next area was Peach Mountain Shogun's Ghost Toys Castle, the second dungeon of the game. Right away in the first room I had to light some torches to open a door. Good thing I obtained that fire medal earlier. I'd hate to have to run back and get it. The traps in this castle were much more dangerous. Look at these scary spikes flying out of the ground. After a couple more rooms I had to carry a seed to plant on top of a massive tree stump. I thought this was required, but it just spat out some food and Rio. I guess I'll take it. A golden fortune doll was at the other end of this razor thin pole. Honestly, not sure how I got this as quickly as I did, but nice. It gives you an extra heart immediately, which is awesome. Further in, I found a switch on the ground. When I hit it, it said the power to the crane game had been turned on. Whatever that means. Oh, there's literally a crane game in the same room. It's pretty obvious what to do here. I hate this kind of claw machine, honestly. It's so frustrating if you overshoot the mark, although I guess the machine owner makes more money with this than it would with a traditional joystick. Anyway, the prize was the wind-up camera for Ebisumaru. He can take a picture to reveal hidden items and make ghosts show up. This castle just so happened to have some ghosts, so now I could deal with them. It's a bit tedious to kill them this way, but well, it has to be done. There was this room with spinning tops over some sketchy red water. I went for the TAS-only strat of getting the 1 cycle here, but I just missed it by a couple frames. Dang, man. Then there was a room where I had to perform well-timed jumps over these ropes. Just like the old days. Honestly, the challenges in the dungeons are really easy, but I think the game isn't meant to be that hard. And something I absolutely did not see coming, one of the final rooms has a huge pool table within. It feels super out of place, but I guess it's kinda cool. I had to knock all the balls into the pockets to receive a key. Eventually, I reached the top of the castle. In this final room was the surrender robot, Darumanyo. This boss was underwhelming, I felt. I had to take a picture out with Ebisumaru to reveal the weak point, being right in the center, because where else would it be? All it does for attacks is flail its arms around and occasionally make explosions near me. I could just wail on it with the hammer and I won in about a minute. I guess I'll take it. This boss dropped the miracle flower, which is in the shape of a flower. Colin appears and he's all upset we won. They say they were just trying to teach all those kids a lesson in Peach Mountain dancing. Then a hologram of a mystery man appears. He gives an over-the-top intro to say that his name is Spring Breeze Dancin'. We ask what he's got up his sleeve and he says his armpit. Then he calls Ebisumaru Antonio for some reason. Colin says Dancin' can give us whatever name he wants. They leave and the guy calls Goemon Fernandez. Apparently they're going to head to the Chugoku region. I went to the village to see what everyone had to say now that the children were back. This one guy was so thrilled that he gave Goemon a big old kiss. Thanks, I guess? Now it was time to figure out where the heck the game wanted me to go next. I eventually made it to a huge open desert. In the corner was an oasis where I found a battery for Sasuke. Oh yeah, I forgot about that guy. I somehow wandered my way to the next castle. However, this door couldn't be opened. It says I could probably blast it with a bomb, so I guess I have to figure out how to get that. I was seriously stuck, so I gave in and went back to the fortune teller. Razuma! The fortune teller told me to go to a big tree behind the Izumo shrine. If I use the camera Ebisumaru has, it will reveal what I need next. Oh my god, it's an invisible item. That feels lame. So I went to the tree he was talking about, took the picture, and wouldn't you know it, a battery spawned on top of the tree. This was the final battery needed, and now Sasuke was functioning again. He has no idea what happened to him before his batteries were knocked out. He says he needs to see his wise old man to figure out what happened. This is where we inform him he blew up in his house at the start of the game. Sasuke wants to get revenge on the Peach Mountain Shogun, so he joins our party. Sasuke's special ability is that he can throw bombs. Oh yeah, now I can enter that next castle. This castle was weird in that it started with a large outdoor area. These big rolling metal things were definitely a cause for concern. Also, I think these red and white banners along the walls or whatever they are, they just look bad. Venturing further within, I found a room where a tank was firing at me. Sasuke's bombs were perfect for dealing with these guys. Then there was this room where moving platforms were over a bottomless pit. Thankfully, this only damaged me instead of killing me. I find it real weird that this game has finite lives. The stairs in this room shifted when I stood on one side of them. Real tricky, I tell ya. I kept venturing further and further within. There was a room containing a new upgrade for Sasuke, the Kunai of Severe Cold. This allows him to cause flames to stop coming from the fox or cool down hot floors. Wait, what was that about a fox? Also, the word kunai will permanently make me think of Joey in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime summoning kunai with chain. Kunai with chain! In a different area, I obtained the meat saw hammer for Ebisumaru. Using this, any enemy he kills with his hammer will turn into food, so it'll be easy to keep my health up. Sasuke got his chance to shine as there were hot moving platforms. With his special kunai, I could stop them in their tracks. There was this awful part where I had to climb a tower with these fast moving fish. It was hard to tell when it was safe to go, and falling really felt bad. I got super lucky and landed on one while it was moving, and I made my way to the top. Oh, gaming's so unbelievably hard. Oh my god. Once I'd reached the final area, I found the boss, the ghost robot Tsurami. It moves to the center of the room and launches some kind of discs at me. The red ones can be deflected back to deal some nice damage. Every time I attack, it charges at me, trying to give me a big ghostly hug. Once I'd hit it 4 times, it launched discs a bit more rapidly. Still though, it always ended with the red ones. Big flaw with this robot's design. For the final hit, it went into a frenzy and was just launching them all over the place. Once again, the red ones were key. The robot exploded like all the others and I received the Miracle Star, in the shape of a star. Sharon appeared and was super upset we killed the robot. Apparently, now that I've killed this one, the barrier blocking the path to Kyushu is gone. This time, a hologram of a mystery woman appears. She says her name is Kitty Lily, and Goemon honestly couldn't care any less. Lily says they use holograms because if they came out in person, they'd be swamped by all their fans. She then tells us Kyushu is where they've set up their stage for their big performance. Then she tells Sharon to go pick up some foundation to make her look nice. I was heading west toward Kyushu when a cutscene happened. Omitsu from the coffee shop said she had to make a delivery for some dumplings to someone in Kyushu. We tell her it's dangerous, but she keeps going. When she crosses the bridge to enter the region, the bridge lifts up and the island is lifted up by some magical force. Yeah, that sure doesn't seem good. The characters didn't know where to go, so Yai suggests seeing the fortune teller. Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with that. The fortune teller said we needed to go north to Mount Fear. We'd meet someone there to help. Before we can go though, we needed to head to Oedo Town for a training session. There was a house that was under construction at the start of the game, and now it's finished. The guy inside said this was the muscle training gym where I could train my muscles. Once I was done here, I could push metal boxes. This was just an excuse to get me to play another minigame. I had to make Goemon throw boxes at these rising things with spikes on their heads. If I could keep them from popping the balloons above for 99 seconds, I'd complete the training. It's incredibly easy. The trainer said I was officially a muscle man. If I paid money, I could push heavy objects and my power would be doubled. As a consequence, I'd also take double damage. Oh my god, Goemon turns Super Saiyan when he uses this. That's so awesome. Heading north, I could now move the box that was blocking the gate earlier. The game is opening up more and more. There was some basic platforming to make my way there. Wonder who designed all these places, it seems unsafe. I had made it to the village of Mutsu, where weird people like this drummer talk about how he tried to hit a dog with his drumstick. Turns out the next place I needed to go was all the way back to Mount Fuji. I needed Mokube to upgrade my weapons to level 2. This also gave Yai the ability to use the sword shield. With this stronger weapon, I could move the massive stone blocking the path in the snowy area. That was quite the hit, my god. At the top of this mountain was a house where the witch lived. She said she could tell exactly what we wanted by just looking at our faces. For the low price of 300 Rios, she could bring back the wise old man here to speak with us. We then see a hologram of the wise man and Goemon asks him how to save Kyushu and Omitsu. He says it's moved all the way up to outer space. We need to retrieve 4 miracle items from each of the members of the Peach Mountain Shogun, then take them to the altar of the stone circle to the west. From there, we can visit outer space. Well, I'd already picked up 3 of them from beating the previous castles, so 1 more to go. The people of the village said I needed to head to the waterfall of Kagon, where I could become a mermaid if I climbed to the top. This was yet another minigame to make Yai climb the waterfall. All I had to do was mash the A button while avoiding the falling people? Why are they barreling down like that? When I got to the top, Yai turned into a mermaid, and now she could use that power to swim underwater in deep ocean and rivers. Now I could head to the Japan Sea to the north and press the mysterious red switch underwater. Swimming is pretty smooth, although I'm glad you rarely have to do it. This opened a door to an underwater area that was underneath a sheet of ice. Not sure how we withstand the cold temperature, but oh well. There was a crashed submarine here and I was able to go inside. Turns out this is the next major dungeon, and it's super futuristic looking. A room here was completely filled with lava, and I think these platforms are like square blocks of sushi? They kind of look like it at least, I don't know. Okay, these platforms in the next room are definitely sushi. Something sure is fishy about this place. Oh my god, now the sushi is sentient and it's trying to kill me. It just keeps getting wilder. Some of the enemies were food related other than the sushi, like here's a crab in a bucket. I'm not sure why, but it wants to fight. After climbing over a pepper and a chunk of raw beef, I made it to the boss's room. The 4th member, Poron, was here. They assume we are die-hard fans, but we're only here for the miracle item. Apparently, they left it in the Zazen town when they were on vacation. Before we can leave, Lily shows up saying she's going to take us far, far away. Then Danson shows up and calls us Fernandez again. They keep arguing about who should have the most screen time in this game while we're just chilling in the background. Danson suggests using a special device to get rid of us. Poron activates the self-destruct sequence for the submarine and we're about to die. Abisumaru blows the horn to summon impact and somehow he beams us out of there. This time the skating sequence is happening on the water. Once again there are buildings everywhere and Impact just does not care. Anything in the way must die. These parts are really fun. Too bad they're so short. When I reached the end, the boss showed up. The charming mermaid Taisamba 2. Its head is half fish, half human, which is just unsettling. The fight is really similar to the last one, although this time the enemy moves around much more. It's a lot harder to hit it with the grappling hook. The same mechanics apply and you can still counterattack when they come up close. When I got the boss to half health, he pulled me underwater. Before I knew it, they were just charging right at my face. How am I supposed to react to that? Then they did some spinning attack that cluttered the screen view. I had to punch these colored orbs before they reached me. I beat this boss first try though. Much better at the robot segments now. This time, Impact says he's got to film a movie in France. Man, he really gets around. I went back to the Zazen town and interrogated Benkei for the miracle item. Unfortunately, he didn't have it in his collection. He then hints at a collector with a collection even surpassing his. His name is Mr. Kihachi, and he lives in the center pond of town. I found the pond and summoned him. Turns out he's a kappa. Yai asks him if he has any strange items he's found, and he holds out the miracle item. He says he won't just give it away for free, so he'll do it if we can carve the word world into the rock we stand on. We say that's too hard, so we ask him to please give it to us, and he says, well, you're cute, so how can he resist? Okay, buddy. Now he says he'll give it to us if we bring him his favorite food. Alright, easy enough. The fortune teller told me that the priest's son had cucumbers, which just so happens to be Mr. Kihachi's favorite food. Okay, I'll go talk to the priest. He says that his son is watching the fire at Mount Yoigatake. He says we'll never be able to reach him unless we undergo training to be able to jump higher than anyone. So he gives us a key to unlock a training facility in Bizane. Ugh, just let me have the cucumber, they're super common. I went to the facility, which sure looks a lot like that other training place. This time I had to use Sasuke to climb to the top of a winding tower. There's nothing super special about this, it's just platforming. It's a bit challenging with the angled blocks because they shove you off. Good thing I've played thousands and thousands of platforming levels in my time. This was a cakewalk. So now I could go to the mountain and perform the super jump. Although to me it just looks like a jetpack. Okay. I found the priest's son up here, admiring the fire like I expected. I asked if we could have a cucumber and he said he'll sell it to me for the low price of 800 Ryo. Holy heck man, that's nearly all I have. This feels like one of those things where there's a way to make him lower the price, but whatever, I had enough so I just bought it. Then I returned to Kihachi and gave him the cucumber. He gave me the miracle snow shaped like a snowflake in return. Now I could take those items to the stone circle and finish these guys off. In the center was the Pemo god. I think it looks a lot like E.T. He warned me that once I went to outer space I could never return. Ah, the point of no return, a classic trope in video games. We warped into space and it was time for the final dungeon. I spawned in at the gorgeous musical castle. There were immediately people in masks just being downright rude. Then there was a room with razor blades shooting out of the wall. This place is so dangerous, like how do the bad guys get through here when they want to go get groceries or something? Fans floating over lava and they're also spinning? Like I just don't get the logistics of it. I would hate to live here. I'd say this was my favorite dungeon of the game though. It's mostly just platforming rather than having to deal with hordes of enemies. Plus I had all the abilities of each character now, so there was a good variety of things I needed to do to progress. Weirdly enough, there was a coffee shop in this place. I guess since they took Kyushu with them, that includes the town. The people are just talking about how there's a musical that gets put on every day and it's always the same show. They don't really have anything better to do though, so they just go watch. In a different building, I ran into the wise man who was supposed to be dead. We don't really know who the witch had us talking to before, but whatever. He says he gave the Peach Mountain guys big robots and the instant stage beam in exchange for a muscle car poster and 5 car magazines. Wow dude, literally this whole game is your fault. We then asked him why they would blow his house up and he had no idea. He's livid that his car magazine collection is gone. In exchange, he gave us a weapon upgrade to level 3. With this, I had the strength to break the boarded up door where Danson and Lily were hiding. I love how getting the super jump for Sasuke just makes the grappling hook worthless. I hated trying to hit those blocks anyway. I traveled further into the castle, navigating each and every obstacle. Even this room that I think Fall Guy stole from. And then I had made it to the stage where Danson and Lily were waiting. They say we get to witness their performance and see their special powers. We get a show put on by the two showing off their beautiful stage and they sing in opera voices. Must say, it's quite good. The entire place begins shaking like an earthquake, then we get beamed up into impact. Oh snap, the final battle is a robot fight, heck yeah. First though, gotta ride out of here on roller skates. At least there's only bad guys this time and not random people's homes to blow up. I'm not really sure if it's possible to lose on these sections because I was really bad at them. Then it's time for the final fight, the Great Peach Mountain Battleship Balbera. This boss was kind of weird. There's all these peaches flying around the thing and there's so many pieces of it to attack. Since I didn't need any money after this point, I just shot cash at it. Why not? Once I'd destroyed all the appendages, the center began opening up. I was blasting this thing like crazy. No price was too high for me. Eventually it ran out of health and that was that. The final boss down. Well, that's what I thought. Danson says the grand finale is about to begin. Then the true final boss appeared. The Fairy of Love and Dreams de Toi. This thing is weird looking. It's kinda like Danson, but it has a big scorpion tail. The projectiles it fires move so fast, as well as the dash towards me. I mostly thought it was annoying how he flashes the whole time. It's kinda like a ghost in a way. I barely got any damage off before I was dead. Well, that didn't go so hot. The timing for countering the dash attack was quite strict. It's clear that this fight was no joke compared to the last two robot battles. On the next attempt, I got him to half health, then he did this wild attack where the screen glowed and meteors rained down toward me. They could be destroyed with punches, although the timing was once again quite strict. I had died again, but I felt like I really had a handle on all his attacks now. It was only a matter of time. The entire time I was fighting this robot, people in my chat were saying how this was way too hard if I don't know all the secret combos. Oh my god, you'll never win without all those special combos. So I got his health down to nearly zero, then just let myself die. Just to show that this fight isn't quite as hard as when y'all were 6 years old. Alright, now that I've proven I can crush this guy, I will look up the combos. So I did go to the manual and look up the combos, and there is one to do a flurry of rapid punches. It was kind of annoying though, because by the time you start punching, the boss had already gotten out of the stun lock. The one most people seem to talk about was the laser beam. It just does a static 400 damage to the boss for free. I don't know man, these combos seem like easy mode. I like fighting better with just grappling and punching. So anyway, I actually killed him this time. Danson is in disbelief that he could lose to us, the lowly Fernandez. He says he will return and finally turn all of Japan into a big stage. Impact then blasts him with the laser one final time and they all fly away and turn into a star. Impact flies us back to Japan and we celebrate that Japan's now safe. However, Kyushu is still stuck in outer space. Just when we say that, we see Kyushu falling back into place. Well, that's convenient. Then there's a stampede of women heading towards us. Ebisumaru thinks they're glad we saved the day and won our autographs. In actuality, they're super mad we got rid of Danson. They were fans of the show and now they'll never be able to see him perform again. Uh-oh. And after that, the credits play. Now there was one thing left that people said I absolutely had to see, and that is the game over screen. For whatever reason, you have finite lives in this game. So I loaded up a new file, intentionally died a bunch, and... What the heck? This is... I don't know what I expected, but this is... Why is this the game over screen? Okay, I don't really know what I expected the screen to be, but that sure isn't it. It just feels so random, like who designed this? But anyway, that's about all there is for this one. Game complete. So yeah, there you have it. My journey to beating Mystical Ninja Starring Goemon. This game seems to have been a big part of many people's childhoods, but I'm not one of those people. I have no nostalgia for this game, so I'm seeing it for the first time. I thought it had both good and bad aspects. The music's amazing, and it's cool how the areas relate to real places in Japan. There's a lot of funny dialogue throughout, and I think it aged well. The robot sequences were very fun, and I think they're definitely the highlight of the game. I don't know though, the characters didn't really feel any different to play as, it's just kinda like they're clones of each other. Sometimes you were forced to swap to use a special ability, but it didn't really feel like there was ever a reason to switch otherwise. The dungeons were quite straightforward, and it just felt repetitive to get to the bosses. Plus, I thought the camera was really poor in this. I don't know, the game's not bad by any means, but it's not amazing either. It was probably cool when it was new, but nowadays, it's just okay. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10 for enjoyability and a 2 out of 10 for difficulty. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Have a sneak peek at the next game. There's 248 games on the list. Could be any of them. Go! You weren't ready for that, were you? 68? Oh my god, what is that? We are playing the next Fighter's Destiny game, which is Fighter's Destiny. Whatever that is. But yeah, if you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. It helps the channel a lot. And if you like this series, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one.